Why is it important to live a spiritual life? What does it mean that we are physical people, but we are also spiritual people, and there is an interaction in us between our spiritual body and our physical body, and we talk about element of life and element of vitality, which we must have for a right life. The Bible in Ecclesiastes speaks that we are animal beings, but we are also spiritual beings. We need certain elements to keep our physical body vital: air, water, food, and other things. People now know very well how to take care of their physical bodies and make them live healthy, but they ignore that they are also spiritual and divine beings, and that therefore that they equally need to feed themselves spiritually, which, by the way, our spiritual selves will accompany us for eternity, good or evil, divine or satanic, while our physical bodies are limited in time and exhausted. Just as we must seek a vitality of the physical body, so we must also seek a spiritual vitality, because the lack of it can reverberate into psychosomatic problems. Whether we believe it or not, our physical body and our spiritual body, they live in symbiosis and relate, and one can influence the other. There is a give and take relationship between our spirit mind and our physical mind. The result of how we live physically and socially affects our consciousness, which is shaped by us according to the parameters of life we choose. If we choose the religious way, then our consciousness will be nurtured and trained by God's Word and His purpose of creation. This, combined with a physical life in respect of spiritual values, will allow ourselves spiritually to grow freely from the energy or vitality produced in a relationship with God. We can therefore feel that we must express God's love or truth, even physically, in helping others, doing good deeds. When we express love through service and relationship toward God and others, we basically express God's truth, and we grow spiritually in accordance with this truth. Our spirit therefore becomes full of vitality. And this is also the best preparation for ourselves to experience eternity in God's spiritual world. In a sense, then, the nourishing element of our spirit consists of divine love and divine truth in us, which is substantialized through right physical living. Complete vitality, therefore, in our life comes from the relationship that occurs between the spiritual self and the physical self. It is very important, certainly, to keep our physical body in good condition, because it is the temple of God and because the physical body serves as a host or ground for the growth of our spirit. Our spirit also surces with the life force of the actions of our physical body, which, however, must live in accordance with and in respect of the spiritual values with which God educates us, because the subject and purpose of our life is not physical, but spiritual and eternal. Conversely, when our spiritual life is very active or very bright, with a good relationship with God, we are filled with joy and happiness within you, and this affects our health and your physical life. Kind of like when we fall in love, we are so happy that we even go without eating and sleeping often. We live in a cathartic state filled with that energy of love and happiness, and the demands of our physical and social life take a backseat for a while. And how much more can God make us live in such a spiritual energy state, since He is the one who created love and the spiritual power and energy of love? Our physical life therefore has to be lived by developing a consciousness based more on vitality to spirit. If we selfishly live centered only on our physical life and pleasures of our physical body, and live without God, we do not give right elements of vitality to your spiritual life and to our spirit, and the weakness of the spirit in us can easily lead to psychological and physical ills. Everything in us being connected, all the two relatas of life, spiritual and physical, and that both must function in balance and harmony centered on God. There is a continuous relationship between our spirit and our physical body, whether we are aware of it or not. One is essential and vital to the other. When the spirit is healthy, physical health is also healthy. When the physical life is righteous and good and in relationship with God, our spirit grows and receives more strength, light and wisdom, and we feel happy and fit physically as well. We call this energy that comes from our spirit the element of life, and the vital energy that comes from our physical element of vitality.